Welcome to Earth, my mother. My name is Estelle Thompson. This is an experience in breath, movement, and creativity. If you did have the Guide to a Magic Life Sacred Symbology Planner, it is January Magic. This is an incredible 1-hour experience into really finding our roots and grounding ourselves in this present moment. The experience in breath first will start with a color breathing meditation. So please find a comfortable seat, just like I am right now, cross-legged. Have perhaps a little pillow on your sits bones. And you can see here I have my index and my thumb touching. My neck is long, my jaw is soft, my eyes are closed. So finding really comfortable. So you could do this also in a chair on your knees. I am cross-legged, but that's really my most favorable position for a meditation. I place awareness in my feet, my legs, my bones. In yoga philosophy, these are really the roots of you. The symbolic roots of you. Taking a long, slow inhale and a long, dry out exhale. Here, I visualize my inhales and my exhales as red. The color red is associated with the earth element. As you sit here, use the color red as an anchor and use your breath as a home base. And remember, your breath is not just in your heart and in your lungs, but it's in and all around you. So as I sit here, I imagine the air coming in and out of me and traveling all around me as if this whole room really was red. And I take the time to connect with the color red. I will further my experience of the color red by grabbing my color pencil. You could also use your watercolors here. And I will go ahead and color some red squares. So I will doodle some squares. And we might as well do it with the color red. So the square is related to the earth element and the root chakra. So just go for it. I have taken my sketchbooks here, and these doodles are meant to be intuitive, primitive, and fun. This is part of a meditation as well, using the doodling action, using the connection you have with the medium of my pencil. And again, it could be a medium of your choice. Being absorbed in this moment through the action of putting color on paper. So it's the synergy of consciousness and of creativity together, of breath and creating something together, and letting that be the doorway to the present moment. In mindful art, there is no right or wrong. These doodles are not meant to be masterpieces. They are meant to be ways to express ourselves, our true, unique expression of soul. And so I will let my doodles go. This can only take a few minutes. If you want it to go a bit longer, you can. I'm just showing you what I did there. kid could have done the same drawing. And I will transition right away into my rooting exercise. This is my most favorite rooting exercise as I sit on the floor, my legs in a comfortable straddle. And I can place a small pillow under my sits bones. I find it that's more comfortable that way. My hips are elevated. And I start with planting my palms on my thighs and grounding the back of my legs, kind of really pushing it. And I like to make it almost really warm action. And I can either look around a room or close my eyes. And here I'm looking around the room. I'm going to try to look around in a non-judgmental way. I catch myself all the time, kind of seeing all the imperfection of the room. And so instead, taking this non-judgmental gaze inside as I close my eyes and sweeping my hands, up and down my thighs a few times. And then I take this action up into my arms. And just this action of, touching my body really brings a sense of inhabiting my own body. And so a lot of our work here in the Earth, my mother class, is about simply coming back to our bodies, its bones, its muscles, its fibers, its weight. You can see here I'm just kind of doing little taps. So the pressure is up to you here. They're nice to wake us up. And then I'll give myself a neck massage up and down. And again, connecting to my fingers onto my skin. I'm bringing this awareness onto my body and its density, my body and its tension. Allowing myself a check-in, a heightened awareness around what makes me have a body. The practice today in movement is really low, very slow, and very warming. So I did it for about a few minutes here. You could do this whole sequence for longer. I've read the blessing for this class. So I will officially enter my session, Earth My Mother. Bring the palms at the chest. There is no doubt. I am grounded, steady, clear, and strong. It is safe for me to slow down. Thank you, body, for being my earth, for taking care of me, for loving me as a symbolic mother would. I ground myself here. I want to grow here. I am here. Breathe in and sigh it out. The mantra for our class is, it is safe for me to slow down. So I'll go ahead and just, pushing my things away, I'll extend my left leg out to push on the underside of my left foot as if I was pushing onto a wall. And then figure four with the other leg, and I'll start some easy heel circles. I'll just start some nice little taps under my feet. Really, really important when doing root chakra work to start with the feet to wake them up. And the underside of the feet, of course, which is our connection to the earth. Finger pads down, and I'll bend my left knee up. I'll watch for my chest not to collapse. My neck is long. My chin is parallel to the floor. And I try to keep my jaw really soft. You could see here I was really trying to relax my face. And I'll use my finger pads, so my hands and my feet are really, of utmost importance in a grounding class. Extend the left leg out and we'll do a light twist here. Open twist. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Pull the navel in on the opposite side that you are turning. Connecting to your sits bones and ringing through the waist. Coming back to center here. As you exhale, bring the left knee up. Extend both legs out. Keep that connection with your fingertips. And we'll do the other side. So figure four on the other side. Heel curl on that side as well. Going for one way and then the other. Hopefully you got the Earth My Mother playlist in the background. One of my favorite. And I go ahead with my little feet tap. Feet tapping are great to do even like when you get up in the morning. Getting you grounded and energized for your day. You can bend the left knee, finger pads down, pull down as you pull up from the chest. So it's really a root to rise motion here. It's nice to get in the hips right before we are about to do lunges, which we are going to do. Watching my inhales and exhales. Sensing them, hearing them. And perhaps I stay with the red, the color breathing red can really stay for the entire class as an anchor. And I'll go for my open twist on the other side. So breathe in, grow tall, and exhale to twist. Again, my jaw stays soft, and at this point of the class, you could exhale through your nose throughout. But again, it's just a personal preference. This is something I stress in all my classes, to make this practice personal to you. Make it work for you. Anything that I do that doesn't work for you, try something else. Adjust, reestablish yourself on your mat so that it's to your advantage, that it works for you. And that's really how we develop a greater, wider, intuitive wisdom. That's really why, in a way, we practice. Okay, so chin in, round your spine, palms face up, and then you saw my feet kind of flop to the side as a sign of receptiveness, surrendering. So my body knows both. It knows how to be active and engaged, and also how to surrender and release. And I can find the back of my breath in the back of my heart. Puffing out. And then I'll go chin up and I'll look up skyward to find my first mini back bend. And I'll find tabletop position. So right now, tabletop position, this is such a great shape to connect with the earth. I start by swaying my hips left and right, getting into my SI joints. I press down with my knuckles and I'll reach the right foot forward and I'll go really low lunge and I'll sway, rock, forward and back, forward and back. An option here is to get my chest on board as well. Another option is to grab the bricks. So I take one bricks on each side and making my arms longer. And, watching gravity and working with gravity and tapping into the heaviness and the groundedness of doing a low lunge, as I find the bit more water aspect in the rock and rolling forward and back. So in a practice, we're always dealing with all the elements at once, even when we are highlighting one, such as the earth for today. So making it personal might mean you do not rock forward and back, okay? So I extend my right leg back and I'll go in a 3-legged tabletop. Notice how I'm not looking down, I'm looking forward. And I ignite my feet, lots of space, and I'll hop it on and over to the left side. As I do the same with my hands, so I'll create a nice stretch all over the right side of my body. I try not to collapse in my chest by pressing down from my hands. And keep sending the attention, my breath, onto the right side of the body. I'll walk my hands back now. I'll hop my foot over to the other side. I'll find my knees nice and wide, at least mat width apart, hips to heels, and forehead down. I'm using my bricks here. Again, it's just a personal choice to have the wrists a bit more elevated, intensify the stretch in the upper body. I radiate my breath all the way into my low back. And again, dressing it down, flushing it down my legs. And getting a sense also of the back side of the body with my breath. Perhaps I'm still working with this idea, this visualization that my breath is red. We also doodled squared, and it's another visualization you could potentially work with in this class. Okay, we go back to our mantra. It is safe for me to slow down as I reach my left foot forward, find a low lunge on that side, and I'll start swaying forward and back with or without my bricks. So forward and back. I round my back quite a bit here. Again, it's up to you how, fast or slow you want to make this. But our mantra is about being, safe to slow down. This is something I've been working on for so many years, slowing my movement down. It is safe for me to go slow. It is safe for me to pause. It is safe for me to be heavy, to feel the heaviness inside me. So as I lean forward, I'll press down with my palms, extend my left leg out this time. So I'll find 3-legged tabletop on that side. And again, the low ribs are in. So my foot is quite high here. Yours might not be as high. And I'll hop on to the other side. I love this stretch, such a nice side stretch, beginning of a practice. Really helps to expand, helps to breathe, really. More side stretches. This is why side stretches are often done at the beginning of class, to feel a sense of expansion through the side body, hence enables a deeper, slower breath as well. I use my gaze also as a tool. My eyes are calm. Extend my leg once more and we'll find Balasana, child's pose, knees wide, toes touch, and forehead on your mat. And this time I decided to have my forehead with my brick. Another way to make your practice really personal is to try things. Try, if you have the bricks nearby, if you your body is asking for something, what do I need today? Okay, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'll go into hero's pose here, and I'll use my brick. I lift my hips, ground down with my knees, and I'll go down. So you could stay right here on your elbows. Nice frontal stretch here, all the front side of my body, my thighs, my belly, my chest, a very intense stretch. So you might want to stay up as well. I know my husband just stays just right up here, and he's never come down all the way down. So honoring what your body needs here. It is safe for me to slow down. And I'll prop back up using the help of my hands. First belly, chest, finally the head. And I'll put my bricks on the side. I'll come back to a tabletop position. And I'll do my sequence again. Reach the right foot forward and start rocking gently forward and back. Forward and back. This movement also super great for your hip joint. I'll bring my shin on the slant there. Maybe you'll have to watch the first one. Shin on the slant and bring the elbow onto the right thigh. Love this one. Again, nice side body stretch here. As I look up, left hand on my left hip, reach the left arm out. And then you could have been, I could have been looking down here. Beautiful grounding side pose. I'll cradle my head. And I find cradling my head enables a bit more trust. And then I'll go into a variation of warrior 2, a low warrior 2. I reach the right arm up. And keep my shoulders on top of my hips, keep magnetizing my inner thigh. And now I'll take my hand all the way around and bind for it to land on my front thigh. If that's not happening, just have your arms alongside the backside of the body. A full warrior 2 here. Inhale, energize the arms. And exhale, deepen into the lunge. I love the low warrior 2 for Earth, my mother class. Windmill your arms all the way down to your brick or your mat. Come back with your shin. And we'll go into a low lizard. My choice was to bring my knees onto the side. You don't have to. You can practice a more coming from a bit more strength dimension. I was feeling open after all these hip stretches, so I just decided to go for it. But it's not for everyone, okay? And you can look forward. Again, my neck is nice and long. Sometimes we just just give in. So there's still lots of engagement here as my elbows are on the brick pulling me up. I'll come out of it nice and slowly, carefully. I'll come back to tabletop position, put the bricks on the side and sway left and right to transition onto the other side. Reach the left foot forward and we'll go ahead, sway left and sway right. So forward and back, forward and back. We'll prepare for the side stretch on this side. So we'll put my shin on a slant. Take the right elbow onto the thigh. And then I like to put my hand on my hip there. It kind of propels me to open a bit wider with my hand there, reminding me to open up skyward, to look up, reach the left arm out. I love to close my eyes when I'm in my practice. It enables me a bit more of an inner world perspective. I'll cradle my head and I'll come down into a low warrior two, keeping on cradling my head. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Beautiful shape here, beautiful lines, and I'll find a bind. And the bind is optional. Windmill your arms back, low warrior two. Drop the shoulders, looking at the middle finger of the left hand. It's common to have the back hand sometimes a bit lower, so just energize, windmill your arms down. The shin comes back. We'll go into our low lizard here. Bring the shoulder onto the brick. You don't have to go as though. You can stay super high if you'd like as well. So my trick has always been, instead of looking down, to keep a sense of ascending through my gaze, either looking forward about a meter forward, without crunching the neck, looking up at all, but keeping with the engagement so you're not just collapsed there. So equal part effort to equal part giving in. So coming back up, finding tabletop position, swaying left, swaying right. Oh, it's going to be so nice. We'll go into a downward facing dog, stretching the back of your leg after all this work, really, of working with gravity, downward motion, the earth view with the low and, gentle, slow sequence here. You can find a nice bounce in your downward dog. It's quite a short downward dog that I have here, making sure my sit bones are nice and high, that I relax my neck down. I'll walk my hands to my feet to the back of my mat, and I'll find a passive forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, chin in, and exhale all the way up. Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathing down into my legs, breathing into my hands. It is safe for me to slow down. The earth is my mother. Right. It's not uncommon for in my classes to have a little dance party. If you're listening to the Earth My Mother playlist, there's a nice kind of funky tune going. I love to shake my tailbone, which is something I learned in Nia technique. So shaking the tailbone, I find it's easier when I have my hands on board. And then I'll get my whole body on board and go for a little nice dance. Again, emphasizing the shaking, the expansion, my hands and my feet, and just going for it. Dancing like everybody's watching. Dancing like no one's watching. However, if it's best for you. And just having fun with the shaking. There's no rules here. I try to dance until, I get there I go. Until, it gets warm. And whenever I want to stop, I just go a little bit longer. It's good to sweat. And I take my hands and I can clap my hands together and keep shaking and dancing. Okay, finding myself at the front of my mat, clasping my hands together, breathing in, breathing out, toes touching, heels slightly apart. I just feel, what's happened. Reach my arms up, inhale. Chair pose, exhale. Weight is on my heels. See, my face is nice and relaxed here, but palms together. Exhale all the way down into my fold. Inhale, long spine, long neck. And exhale, palms down, and we'll find a high plank on your knees right away. And I can sway again, and we will elevate the sequence that we were already working with. Reach my right leg forward, elbow on to my front thigh. Reach the left arm out. My shin at the back is already slanted, and I'll go. So we've picked up the pace here, yeah? So it's one breath almost to each shape. I go into a dancing warrior and then back to a low warrior 2. Windmill your arms down. You'll widen the stance. And from here, we'll do a twist. Reach my right arm up and high as I inhale. I can bend my back leg and open nice and wide. Chin is high. Keep breathing throughout. If you're not reaching anything, then you're not reaching anything. It's not a big deal. And we'll come back and settle back into tabletop, and we'll go into Anahata Asana and puppy pose. And from here, palms together, anchor the elbows down. Breathing in and out, coming back to your color red, coming back to your tools. The mantra is, it is safe for me to slow down. Dolphin, extend the legs behind, sit bones are nice and high. Make sure not to collapse through your shoulders. And pulling back up, one hand down, the other hand down, up, pull up, downward facing dog. Breathing in and sigh and step forward. Inhale, long spine, long neck. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees, ground down through your feet. Sweep your arms all the way up. Chair pose, Tadasana. And a little back bend, and come back to Samastitihi. So reach your arms up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, dive all the way down. Inhale, long spine, long neck. Exhale, plant your hands, walk back, high plank. And on this one, bend your knees. And we'll find tabletop, a little sway. And we'll take the other leg forward. For me, that was my left leg forward. Elbow on to the front of my thigh. Reach the left arm to the front of the room. We'll cradle Come back up as you inhale with the other arm. And all the way up. And back to low warrior 2. And windmill your arms down. We'll go into a wide lunge. Left hand down, right hand down, and then left hand reaches up as you inhale and tries to grab or not grab the back leg. You could stay in a low lizard here if you like to skip this part. And come back to the front of the room and back to a tabletop position. Now coming to the front of the mat, you will want to grab some brick and we'll go back into our sleeping hero. I even have a blanket here just in case. Knees are nice and wide, and then taking my brick behind my low back as I lower down all the way or halfway. So I'll be up to you here. And you can grab the elbow bones as well. Nice long deep breaths here, coming back to your tools always. And you can go ahead pushing back, palms face down. Pull back up, belly, chest, head. Make sure your hands help you up. Okay, and then we'll go into a downward facing dog. And we will elevate our sequence even more now that we're nice and warmed up. So I just turned sideways, but you would just stay where you are, obviously. Take a deep breath in and a sigh. And walking forward mindfully, toes together. Sweep your arms up, chair pose. And extend your legs, mini back bend, and palms back at your chest. It's safe for me to slow down. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep your arms up, look up, and exhale all the way down. Long spine, inhale, fingertips up your shin bones. Exhale, plant your hands, walk back. And this time your knees stay off the mat. And I'll just walk forward a little bit. Just have fun with these little walk forward and back. Try to get my knees not to touch the mat. Just having fun with this. And then downward facing dog, extend my legs once more. I'll step my right foot forward. My hands will help me in that manner. And I'll go into my right elbow on my right thigh, and then extend the left arm out. Cradle my head, and then reach it back up into a warrior 2. So the practice is elevated a bit higher, continuing to cultivate groundedness through the feet and the hands. Reach it back. Windmill your arms back into a full-fledged warrior 2. I look very serious here, but it wasn't that bad. And windmill your arms all the way down. This time we'll go back to our lizard. Okay, just puffed out, nice and open. And I'll reach my opposite arm and I'll go into really nice open twisted shape here. So we're working, the hips and also opening the chest. Well, back to tabletop position, downward facing dog, exhale into dolphin. So my forearms went down quite quick here, and I'll just rock forward and back on my feet. I let my blood rush down my head. And I'll step the left leg forward this time and go into having my elbow on my front thigh and then reaching out, cradle the head, come up, reach the left arm up, inhale, exhale down into my feet. Coming back to warrior two. Inhale, energize the arms. Exhale, deepen into the lunge. Windmill your arms all the way back. We'll find our lizard. Right hand down. Inhale, reach the left arm back and grabbing the foot. And reach everything back to the front. Puppy pose with reverse prayer. Grounding down through your elbows, palms like a prayer, and reverse it back. And dolphin pose. So tripod, so it's dolphin but with tripod arms, I noticed I was doing. You could also have your palms face down on the mat. The sits bones nice and high. Breathe it all in. Exhale it all back. And I'll grab my bricks here, stack them together to engage with one of the asanas, one of the shapes that's really known, a staple for the earth element practice, Malasana Squat. I especially love to do them on bricks. I always find Malasana without bricks is very, it's not as sturdy, yeah? So I'll ground down with my feet, grab the top of my shin bones, long spine. Using all my tools. Perhaps my square comes back to mind. The square is often used as a meditation tool. The color red. It's safe for me to slow down. Reach the arms forward and bring the bricks forward. We'll just sway from the hips here. Again, I love the bricks. It makes me have really long arms. And I just sway here. I'll go into a wider squat and I rinse out my shoulders here. Left and right. And sweep your arms up. The star pose, nice and wide. Hands to the hips, heel toe, and mountain pose, Tadasana. All right, tree pose, two symbolic roots here. Bend the right knee up, open on the side, foot below or above the knee. Palms together, breathe it all in, exhaling all out, making sure your hips are nice and leveled. Sweep your arms up as you inhale, bring your palms out, and then index and thumbs can touch. I don't know if you remember, we did this at the very beginning of this class. Palms together, back at your chest, hands to the hips, right knee in, and sole of the foot down. Hands to the hips, bend the left knee up, open on the side, foot below or above the knee, palms at the chest. So plant, like really press your hands together. We often forget the clasp, and then reach your arms out. Yeah. Palms together, back at the chest, left knee in, and sole the foot back down. Okay, so Tadasana, taking the time here to transition onto our backs. So we'll go ahead. I love to have a blanket under my head. A pillow could do as well. It's optional if you don't want. The more I get older, it seems I like more padding. But it's up to you. We'll go into some pelvis rocking motion here. Really, really good for your low back. And from here, so reach it up and down, and then we'll transition to a bridge pose. So palms face down, hips are nice and high. And notice how my knees are not flailing out here. So something you could do, you could just have a brick in between your thighs. And then I roll it back down to the earth. And I go back to my pelvic motions, forward and back, forward and back. And I find that bridge pose again. Chin is in, palms face down, and I come back one bone at a time. Okay, from here, extend the left leg out, bend the right knee in, interlace your fingers 2 inches below the right knee. So find your shoulder blades and your spine flat on the mat. The jaw is nice and soft. And pull the right thigh in. So we'll go into a lying down tree pose. Your hands are on your hip bones. And you can literally pretend you're doing this, but standing. But we will transition this into a twist. Okay. So you'll take the right knee and do a 180 all the way to the other side. Okay, and see how I use my hand to really navigate myself on the other side, using my body and letting it help me. Extend my arms out like the letter T, palms face down, looking the other way that my knee is. Deepen the exhale. And then coming back, extend the right heel up, pulling from the heel, looking at my toes, and slowly lower into a leg lift. Bend the left knee in, interlace your fingers 2 inches below the left knee, Pavanamuktasana. And inhale, strengthen the grip. Exhale, pull the left thigh in. Really engage through my biceps, my triceps here as I pull my elbows in closer to my body and I sync my breath to my movement. So even though we're on our backs here, you know, we're still using the same tools. Okay. And all the methods that I show you, they are all self-regulating tools to navigate the unknown in the 3 pillars: the breath, movement, and creativity. Okay. So I know sometimes they seem too simple, but it's in their simpleness that lies their powers. So don't underestimate how simple the exercises are. Okay, and we'll come back to center, extend the left leg out, pull from the heel, and slowly lower. All right. So I'll go into Shavasana. I took a little, it's a pillow, but you could have sandbag, you could have, I know now there's some like heavy blankets that exists, so you could have the heavy blankets on your hips or on your knees or on your heels, or you can have a blanket together over you. We'll finish in our restful pose, Shavasana. And utilizing all our tools really as this gateway to the present moment. Now that we've practiced relentlessly, we came back to it. Now we let ourselves just surrender to their potency. A few more moments here. In a complete exile, trusting the earth. It's safe for me to be here. Breathing deeper. Circling your wrist a little, your heels a little. I took my pillow. That's literally how I sleep at night. I'm just hugging it in. And coming back slowly, carefully up into my seat. I will end the class the same way I started it in my rooting exercise. So extend my legs out, straddle, comfortable straddle. The true line of yoga really is about stability, about sturdiness. And this class for me is really the start of it all, the beginning of it all, the roots of it all. We cannot rise if we're not anchored, if we're not rooted, if we're not, we don't feel stable where we are. So it's really the building block to ascending into our awakening. Okay, and I just a little float and crossing my leg, palms up my chest. Thanking myself for showing up for my work today. Thanking my breath as my mother, my breath as my earth, my body as my earth. I just decided to finish with the earth, my mother meditation that you can find in your access to the meditation studio if you have it. I thank you for your time. I'm excited to see you in other offerings. Namaste.